All right. In this video, I want to go over use of the fourth finger or the pinky whenever we're playing the violin. It's a very interesting topic, actually, and I could probably talk about it all day. I'll spare you, and we'll just talk about some of the main key details in there. The very first one is, of course, when we go to use that pinky is kind of the smallest pinky or the smallest finger that we have, of course, on our hand. So it needs to be treated a little bit differently in order for it to be successful in making sure it reaches all the way up where it needs to go whenever we want to use that fourth finger. Another good subject is when we use the fourth finger and when we use the open string, since they are basically the same thing. Like if I put a 4 on the A, that's the same note as our open E. So sometimes when we see it in our music, we can either make the choice of using an open E or a 4, or sometimes there's some pretty obvious reasons why we should use either an open string or sometimes why we should obviously use a 4, and we'll talk about those just a little bit too. A lot of the times, the reason why we'll use a 4 instead of an open string is if we're going up a string and coming back down and not using any other notes on the next string, then there's really no reason to go all the way to the E with the bow and then all the way back over to the A either. If you'll notice too, there is a big difference in the quality of sound between an A string, for instance, or any two strings, but we'll use this as an example, the A string and the E string, which is much brighter. So if I'm playing a song and I want it to be kind of nice and light, it sounds a little bit better than if I go. That string is just really bright and it kind of breaks up the line if we're not careful. Then there's sometimes where if we're going up to the open E, then we actually don't want to use a 4 because now I have to go from a 4 to a 1, and that's just much harder than just popping over to that open E. So we'll continue talking about when and why to use 4s, but let's work on how to get that 4 all the way up there. What I like to say is, pinky, we don't want to just try to flop it up there as hard as we can. Number one, a lot of the times that will mean that it's not going to be quite as in tune. We won't get high enough, basically. And if we don't have any flexibility, then it's harder to move it around. So if I had to do like a lot of 4s in a row, this is a lot harder than this. Now, there's a big difference there, and I'll show you how to do it. A lot of the times it's just because that third finger and that fourth finger, they're kind of connected, almost like best friends. So anytime this one wants to move, you can even see it. This one wants to move too. Now, that's okay. And then sometimes, like when I have students in class, I'll have two students that are really, really friendly with each other, and they'll kind of sit together and they'll kind of do that, where one person will say something, then the next one has to say something, then the other one has to say something back, and then they keep talking like that. And the best way, if you have that happening in class, it's nice that they're friends, but sometimes you got to make sure to separate them just a little bit, so they're just a little bit less likely to want to mimic each other and do that kind of stuff. So the way we do that on the hand is that pinky's too far away to really kind of reach all by itself. The pinky needs a little bit of help in order to do that and to get away from the third finger. So really what we've got to do is we've got to stretch the whole hand, while thinking about here on the palm, but also the back of the hand, so that we can separate especially those knuckles. Do this for me. Make sure that we don't have our fingers nice and stiff, because this is actually way harder to hold them apart, but make sure that they're nice and bent, just like this. And then do me a favor and make the whole hand even bigger. I've called this tiger claw before, just making sure that we can kind of open up that hand, because if you notice now I have quite a bit of space between these two knuckles here, right? So that's one exercise you can do, is just opening up the hand like that. Go back to normal. Open up the hand, separate the knuckles, go back to normal, do tiger claw. And maybe you can come up with a Karate Kid-like exercise. Or you can work on that a little bit. But let's start to work on applying it to the violin. Go ahead first, that violin on top of the shoulder. Make sure your thumb's all the way back. Now, another difficult thing is when we reach up for the 4, a lot of people like to take the whole hand and go up there. But then if we have to go back to a 1, now we're going woo and jumping back and forth. So what I want you to try is go ahead and put the thumb down. Put the first finger right on the tape and glue it in place. Don't move it. Second finger right on the tape, glue it in place, don't move it. Third finger right on the tape, glue it in place. Now I want us to try to get that pinky all the way up to that tape, but we've got to really open the hand up, boop, to get it up there as high as we possibly can. When we go to put the pinky down, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of support for these knuckles here. One thing parents you can do if students are working on their fourth finger, and I would do it without the bow first. It's not a bad idea just to stretch it up there. If you see that pinky collapse and go straight like that, if you poke at it and tell them to push against your finger, a lot of times what that means is they'll strengthen those muscles in the pinky so that it stays nice and bent like that. And if you're a student watching this by yourself, you can do that a little bit yourself too. Kind of poke at it if it's nice and collapsed, and try to get it to come back up. Just like that. We want it as bent as possible. And maybe I'll get pickier and pickier about that, but for now, let's just work on kind of getting it up there. Let's do it one more time. Ready? First finger, second finger, third finger. Bring that elbow forward a little bit. That'll also help. And then expand that whole hand and support those knuckles so you can get the pinky up. Let's do one exercise without the bow first. Leave all the fingers down, but pick up the pinky. Set it back down. Pick up the pinky. Set it back down. Pick up the pinky, set it back down, and then if you can, try going even faster. Once you've gotten pretty good at this, you can really smack it with that pinky, and that'll mean that we have a nice strong pinky that's ready for it. Okay, so you can practice that first, of course, without the bow. Then once you finally are ready for it, go ahead and get ready, and we'll do it with the bow this time. So this is just a normal little 1-string, 4-note, 5-note scale. Going from open A all the way up to the fourth finger on the A, and then all the way back down to open A. The most important part about it is don't pick up those fingers until you're on your way back down. So once you set them down, leave them until you have to go back down and play the finger that's below that finger. Get ready. Good violin hold, good bow hold, all that stuff. Watch the fish, especially watch the fish for this one. Elbow forward, that'll also help quite a bit. Set the bow in the middle on the A string, we're ready. And open A. First finger down and glue it in place. Second finger down and glue it in place. Third finger down, glue it in place. Fourth finger all the way up. Nice. Then you can pick up the fourth finger and go back down. 2, 1. And then just like Suzuki always does, repeat. 1, 2, 3. Leave them down and stretch to the 4. 3, 2, 1. Open. Very nice. Now this is a good exercise to do once a day, even at the very beginning of a practice session, just to get some strength in that pinky going, like a little workout basically. Okay, you can do that, and you can do it on any string too. Let's do it on the E string once, just to practice it one more time. Ready? Get the fingers ready for the E string this time. Set the bow on the E, and open E. 1, 2, 3. Make sure to stretch that whole hand up there. Back to 3, 2, 1. Repeat. Very nice. Now once you've practiced that up a little bit, the best song to start practicing with the fourth finger is Lightly Row, because technically if you don't play an open E and you play the fourth finger, you could play this entire song on one string. Let's do it. I'll call out the notes for now just so we get where that 4 is going. But let's play Lightly Row. I'll play the introduction as well. Get ready with that fourth finger first, and fourth finger, 2, 3, 1, 1. Up the scale. Remember to use the pinky. Pinky again. 2. Ing. Arpeggio. 2, 4. Back to 2, 1. Half note, 2. 3. Here comes the 4. Half note, and 4 again. 2. Here comes the arpeggio. Remember the 4. 2, 4. Back to 2. Very nice job. And like I said, take some time. This does take some time to kind of develop, so just be patient with this one. And happy practicing.